Hi there, my name is Melanie Pritchard and I am a lawyer turned success coach and wellbeing trainer. I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of the wellbeing workshops that I do and how I might be able to benefit your organisation with those. But first, let me answer a very quick question that I'm often asked, which is, how did you move from law to life coaching? They sound completely disparate. Actually, they're more similar than you might think. Now, I was a family lawyer, and what I realised I really loved about family law was helping people through massive life changes, because wherever there's change, there's inevitably vulnerability. Whoever we are, whether we're a CEO or a junior, change can be hard. What I also realised throughout my legal career was that in many ways I was surrounded by high levels of success, but also high levels of vulnerability, which isn't what you would necessarily associate with a powerful corporate environment. Perhaps why there are high levels of stigma around mental health in those very environments. So I noticed on more than a few occasions what I intuitively sensed was colleagues experiencing levels of stress that were beyond the norm. I remember once working with an associate, a lovely lady, who was very, very pale and became quite withdrawn. There was definitely a deviation from the norm, and I remember feeling intuitively very concerned about her. There was something quite out of the ordinary about this sudden shift in behaviour. And I remember mentioning this to one of my seniors, and she was quite dismissive, not because she didn't care, but simply because neither she nor I had any real awareness of how to spot the signs and symptoms of mental ill health, and therefore we lacked the confidence to actually approach her, talk to her, and possibly signpost and assist her in a helpful manner. I didn't give much thought to this at the time until a friend recommended, within my capacity as a coach, that I might enjoy the 2-day mental health first aid course run by Mental Health First Aid England. And I thought, okay, fine, she knows me pretty well. That sounds good. So off I went to do this course, and I have to say it was a life-changing 2 days. I can unashamedly share with you that I hadn't realised just how prevalent mental ill health was. I was blindsided when I discovered that 1 in 4 of us will suffer from depression or anxiety in the UK every year. I had no idea, and I couldn't believe that the cost to UK businesses was £36 billion a year. That's more than the value of the legal industry alone. And then obviously I couldn't believe how little seems to be done in the workplace about these issues. And it suddenly was a light bulb moment. I thought, there's a real gap here, and I really want to bridge this gap and combine my corporate counselling and coaching expertise to do that. And that's why I have designed some bespoke wellbeing workshops to really get on top of wellbeing and mental health in the workplace. So I do this really in 2 different ways. So I deliver mental health first aid courses. I deliver 3 types, and I'm trained by Mental Health First Aid England to do that. So the first course is the half-day mental health awareness course. And as you can guess, that's really a brief overview of mental health, the discrimination and stigma around that, and a whiz through the common mental health conditions. That's really good if you don't really have much understanding of mental health. You're perhaps a time-short employee who really wants to be able to spot the signs and symptoms and start a conversation with a colleague who might be in need. The second course that I offer is double the length of that. So it's a full day version of that half day course, which is why you come away as a certified mental health champion. Having more time to deliver that course means you can, as you'd imagine, delve a little deeper into those common mental health conditions, and you're more confident in identifying the signs and symptoms around those conditions. So that's why you become a certified champion. The third course is really double the length of that second course. It's a 2-day mental health first aid course, the one that I first did, which I absolutely loved. I have a real interest in wellbeing and mental health, in how people work, and the change and vulnerability that accompanies that. Obviously, with the 2 days, you have a lot more time to discuss in a group in terms of questions and share stories about mental health. You have a lot more time to share powerful videos and case studies which really boost attendees' confidence in terms of how to spot the signs and symptoms of a really broad range of mental health conditions. And those range from common conditions such as depression and anxiety, all the way across to eating disorders, self-harm, psychosis and suicidal crisis. Now, the latter might sound quite extreme and rare, but they're much more common than you would think, suicidal crisis, particularly amongst young men. So those are the mental health courses that I deliver. I also deliver wellbeing workshops such as mindfulness masterclass and resilience masterclass. Resilience is a really, really core transferable skill. It's something we're not taught in school. Mindfulness is obviously becoming more popular and more common amongst society, but both are incredibly useful workshops in terms of teaching you the day-to-day tools and the science behind these terms that we hear bandied around an awful lot. It's important to understand the science. If you're an analytical corporate being, you will buy into something a lot more if you understand how it works and you understand the benefits behind investing some time in this. So those are the two different types of workshops I do: wellbeing and mental health first aid. One of the reasons why I believe very passionately in delivering these in the high pressure corporate environment is because, as I mentioned, I noticed quite a lack of awareness and a stigma actually around mental health when I was working in high pressure corporate environments. And since then, I've been into, for example, a Magic Circle law firm is one that comes to mind. And I asked a senior partner there, what are your mental health policies here? What's your approach to mental health? To which she replied, in front of a room full of people, oh, we don't have those sorts of problems here. We're very driven. And I felt two things. I felt deflated and sad that there was such a lack of awareness within such a powerful firm. But I also felt excited that there was a gap that I could help bridge, because there was such a lack of awareness around such a prevalent issue. Mental health does not discriminate against you, whether you're successful, wealthy, or otherwise. We all go through changes in our life. We all move around the mental health continuum with well-being on one side and mental health on the other. We all move around that, and we can all be triggered into one zone or the other, depending on the factors that we're experiencing at that time in our life, whether it's getting married, whether it's relationship breakdown, whether it's having children. All manner of reasons, our parenting models when we're younger, our immediate environment, even the relationship we have with our boss, or indeed how good a fit our work is in our life, or indeed the number of mental health issues or crises that we might come across in our life. Sometimes it just takes 3 really problematic occasions to tip you into an episode of depression. So as you can see, I'm very passionate about well-being and mental health, and that is why I deliver these workshops in high pressure corporate environments. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, then please do drop me a line. You can hop on over to my website, which is www.melanie-pritchard.com. You can have a look a little bit more about me, about my qualifications as an NLP practitioner, a life coach, a telephone counsellor, and beyond, and see whether you think we might be a good fit. Alternatively, you can reply to this email or pick up the telephone, and I'd be happy to have a chat with you or a face-to-face meeting. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to reconnecting, hopefully.